We have just Dirty Birdie and I tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Decon and Haywire are taking the night off, but we have a great topic. And before we get started, I just wanted to thank you for watching the podcast and remind you guys that we really need you to like and subscribe. Yesterday we had 6,000 views on our different podcasts on our channel. And if every single one of you would subscribe, it would be phenomenal. I think about 98% of the people who watch our stuff don't subscribe, but a lot of them are returning viewers. So it really helps us out. It'll help us get monetized so we can research more content. It will really help us out. So anything on that, Dirty Bird?
Yeah, please thank you everybody that's watching, subscribing. Help us get up there. We'll put out way better content and do way better things.
Yeah. And when we say that, it's because if we can finally get monetized, we can put some money towards document research and transcriptions and all of these things that cost money that right now we just don't have. So anyway,
go to the big cons and go talk to some big people.
You bet. Yeah. All right. So Dirty Bird is bringing us this subject matter tonight, and it's really has always been one of my favorite subjects. So what do we got going on?
We have the Travis Walton experience. It is the quintessential alien UFO abduction, and he remembers it all.
Yeah.
It's not like some of these ones where they're like, I think I got abducted, and then they do the hypnosis and stuff, and they're like, yeah, totally got abducted. So in 1975, and let's start from the beginning here. 1975, crew chief Michael L. Rogers was running a logging thing for the Forest Service, and he was way behind. So he hired Travis to come down and do some work for them because he's running way behind. And if you know anything about working with the government, they hire these people out, and if you don't get the contract done in time, there's penalties, right?
So this logging operation. It was a private logging firm, right? So they had bid on a contract to remove trees.
They bid on a contract with the Forest Service. He was already way behind, so we hired some more people.
Was this New Mexico or Arizona, or where was this?
This is Arizona.
Arizona, yeah, okay.
And let's see here.
And I think Travis was a sawyer, so he was operating a saw.
He was doing saws. Where this took place was the Heber Overgaard National Forest. And I looked this up, and this is, this is situated on top of the Mogollon Rim. Now,
let me bring up a picture. If
any of you cryptid hunters, Bigfooters out there have heard the name Mogollon Rim, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of weird stuff goes on there.
So this is this on the Navajo reservation? No, it wouldn't be if it's Forest Service.
No.
So it might be adjacent to.
It's adjacent to.
Okay.
But it's heavily forested, and it does get snow.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, where were we?
Okay, so they've hired Travis to help him with falling trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on November 5th, 1975, they reported him missing. 6 members of the crew truck they claimed were driving down a road when they saw a lit object above the ground near the roadway. So one of the guys in the truck saw a light come down and then just stop, and he said it was a yellowish amber color. Now what they thought was it was a forest fire. So they slammed on the brakes. They're like, that's a forest fire. Travis was like, no, it ain't. And apparently, I think he saw a ship. So he ran towards it. He totally booked towards it. Now, why would you do this? You see
Yeah, well, did he actually see the ship at this point or just the light?
I guess he just saw the light and he ran towards it.
Well, if they thought it was he thought it was a something else, right?
Well, one of the people in the truck said they saw it float above the forest and then land. And one was like, it's a forest fire. And Travis like, no, it's not.
And this is Travis here.
Yeah, picture. And he's 22 years old. He goes running towards it. And everybody's like, no, get back in the truck. Get back in the truck. He's running towards it. And he gets towards he gets to a log. And this ship just starts making a humming noise, which is fairly common with UFO encounters. People claim to hear these craft hum. So it's not doing anything. All of a sudden it kicks on and starts humming. He's hiding behind a log at first. He runs up, sees it. It kicks on. He ducks under a log because he doesn't know what's going to happen. And the engines start turning on. He stands up, gets blown back when it kicks on. He gets blown back 10 or 12 feet. And the other crew sees this happen. And they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they're getting ready to punch it. And then they see a beam of light hit Travis. And they're like, that's it, we're gone. Boom. And they leave. They just take off.
Well, one of the guys said, I think he said, and I can find it here, some of the witnesses, so the logging crew he was with said, so Michael Rogers, I think he was the foreman. Yeah. And he said, I've been working in these woods over 10 years, and this is the damnedest thing that ever happened to me. And then in 95, he said, I've been working in these woods for over 30 years, and this is still the damnedest thing that ever happened to me. And what they said was that this bluish light came down from the machine, and Travis went flying like he touched a live wire.
Yeah. So he gets blown back. This beam of light, this blue beam of light, I'm going to say like a tractor beam, picks him up. They freak out. Because why wouldn't you? You're just watching your friend get zapped by who knows what. Yeah. And they leave. Now, a little while later, the crew is like, hey, we got to go back and get him. And I think only a couple of people went back to go get him, and he's gone. Gone. Now, while he's gone, these guys are back in town freaking out. They are absolutely freaking out. So they call the sheriff. And the deputy county sheriff, Copeland, went out to check it out. Didn't find anything. So he goes and visits his mom. And his mom is just like, these things happen. And the sheriff's like, that is the oddest thing you could ever say. And she's like, no, well, if he got took, he's not here. He's off planet somewhere, hanging out. Now, while this is going on, Travis is, lack of a better term, off-world somewhere. He's wakes up on a table somewhere, and he's got a bright light flashing in his face, and he looks up and he sees three little gray aliens looking at him. He describes them as, like grayish white, no features, kind of creepy looking, and he freaks out and he gets up off the table, and I think he literally pushes one and says that their skin is like marshmallow, something like that. And he grabs I guess a beaker or something off this medical equipment table, tries to break it. On this bench he's sitting at, while he's screaming, "Get the hell away from me," and he can't break it. He's hitting it as hard as he can, and he cannot break this thing. So these three little gray aliens skitter off, and a door opens. And he gets up off the table, and he walks out through the doorway into a hallway, and he has no idea where he's at. No idea. And he's walking down a hallway, and he turns, a door opens up, he steps into this room, and he sees a chair sitting there, like I don't know, just a regular chair. He steps into the room. The room lights up, and from what he can tell, it looks like a galaxy, just on the walls and above him. And he's walking up to this chair, expecting to see somebody sitting in this chair. And he turns, and he's sneaking up, he sneaks up around the chair, and there's nobody in the chair. But on one side of the chair, looks like there's a controller. On another side is a green LED screen with different colored buttons. And he's thinking, if I can figure something out, I can get out of here. And he's pushing these buttons, and the LED screen has a grid on it, and it's moving around. And he's like, what the hell? And he grabs the handle, and this screen just pops over him, and he's grabbing the stick, and he's pushing buttons, and it's moving around like it's telling him what galaxy he's in, or solar system, or whatever. And he's like, I'm just pushing random buttons. If I do the wrong thing, I may crash this ship and we're all dead. But he stops messing with it. He gets up and he turns to leave, and a human-like figure comes walking through the door. And I think it was in a blue jumpsuit with a clear globe on its head, and it looks like a human. And he's like, "Oh, thank God, a human!" And he goes walking up to it, and he's just screaming, babbling. He's like, "Where the hell am I? What am I doing here? Blah blah blah." And this human figure has pale skin, well, not pale skin, but fair skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, looks like Nordic, which
Hmm.
I've heard before.
Really?
Yep. And he's babbling at this thing, and it grabs him by the hand firmly, not hard, but firmly, and is like doing this, going, come with me, come with me. And it slowly drags him to, lack of a better term, a shuttle bay. And they're taking him to the same ship that he got abducted from. And another one of these Nordic people show up, and they're like, come on, come on, come on. And they put him on the table. And the other Nordic person puts a mask on him, like an oxygen mask, and he passes out. Now, he blacks out and wakes up in the middle of the street somewhere.
Hmm.
So imagine that.
I can't. Yeah. God, I can't.
So my guess is that they didn't mean to injure anybody. They were just there for I don't know what. And he gets blasted. They're like, oh, don't, collateral damage. Let's go fix him, drop him off. He won't know the difference, right? Well, apparently the anesthesia wore off, and he's like, oh no, we're gonna fight. And these little guys are like, nope. And he goes walking out there. He's wandering the hallways, and he's pressing buttons somewhere, and another one of these aliens is just like, oh man, these guys again. God, it's like the fifth one in a month. All right, come on, let's go back. Come on. No, you can't stay here. You're a stray. Time to go home. So, where did it go? So he wakes up on November 12th, shortly after midnight. He wakes up in the middle of the street. He happens to find a payphone, make a collect call to his sister's home in Heber, Arizona.
So wait a minute. When was he abducted?
He was abducted like a week.
So he was gone a week. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
5 days.
Okay. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how terrifying that would be.
And during this time, everybody out there is placing they're getting ready to charge the other forestry workers that he's working with murder. They were getting ready to. And then he shows up and they're like, what in the hell? So
So you know what? I watched this movie, Birdie, when it came out. I went to the theater with my mom. I'll never forget this, and I watched it. And the one piece that really stuck out to me was how disoriented he was when he came home. And they ended up having like a welcome back Travis party, you know, to at the house. Like everybody's there and they're like, hey buddy, welcome back. And he had a panic attack and he was hiding under the kitchen table. He just couldn't he started seeing in his mind just he was looking at all the legs of people walking around and he was flashing back to being on the UFO and seeing legs with white light behind them. And oh my God, I can't even imagine.
what stuck out to me is that he got abducted and then He got put back on the ground, but he still had his clothes on. He still had his keys, his wallet. I'm assuming pocket knife and pocket change because he made a collect call to his, where was it? Yeah, his
To his sister.
sister-in-law's house.
Yeah, our sister-in-law, yeah.
Oh, I mean, his sister's
Well,
home.
collect call, you wouldn't need any money because back then, if you pick up the phone in a phone booth and hit 0, I think he went straight to the operator.
What I meant was he had pocket change to make a
Oh,
phone call.
okay.
Yeah, like,
That is kind of
we're
weird.
yeah, we're gonna do surgery on you, but we're gonna
But
do
they
it
put
through
his
your
clothes
clothes.
back on. Hmm. I thought he was. I thought. Well, anyway, was that in the movie like that? Because I could have sworn that he was hiding behind vehicles because he didn't have any clothes on.
No, that's what it says.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
how do you make a you show up in the middle of the street, but you still have your clothes on after being
well, I don't know. I've never been abducted, and I hope I'm never abducted.
yeah, you got
Never.
close.
Well, wait a minute. Remember Betty and
Barney Hill. Yep.
Barney Hill? They
Yep.
weren't naked when they came back with their clothes.
Yep.
So
And
apparently,
that's part of the story is that he saw this movie and this is a whole debacle. This poor dude. Anyway,
what? Where are you going with this?
what, the Benny and Barney Hills
No,
stuff?
what? Okay, I'm just trying to follow you. I'm trying to follow you. He
I'm
saw
all
what
over
movie?
the Benny and Barney Hill movie
Oh,
that
there's
was
on
on
TV.
that was
No.
on TV prior to the abduction.
Well, I could say, okay, he had a bad mushroom trip, except that all of the guys with him saw him being abducted.
Exactly.
And they all have exactly the same story.
Yep.
So it's, yeah.
So,
And he was changed. He was definitely changed when he
oh
came
yeah,
back.
this
He
poor
was,
guy.
he had panic attacks. He's been through the ringer.
So her so they called his sister, and the sister sent out her husband Grant Neff to pick up. What? Anyway, they went and got him, drove him back, and they thought he was intoxicated. He wasn't. Um.
So I know he was
So
interrogated
the
by the sheriff's office, right?
hmm.
He was interrogated by the sheriff. And
Oh
at
yeah.
one point, he was also given, I think, a lie detector by the FBI or somebody.
Yep. And
And
they a couple of times, yeah.
he passed all of that.
Yeah, he passed all of
Yeah.
that. He passed the toxicology exam, everything.
Yeah.
This poor dude. And I think the National Enquirer put out a $5,000, I don't want to say bounty, but thing for proof that aliens exist. And then at this time, they raised it to $10,000. So they got a hold of this, and Travis told his whole experience, and all of these guys on his forestry crew got a cut of that check.
Yeah, they each got $2,500 because I just saw the article.
So they all got a cut,
Yeah.
and that is where people are saying it was a scam, it was a hoax, everything like that. And Travis was like, "No, it wasn't a hoax. This actually happened." And all his crewmates were saying, "We were there. We watched it happen. So no, it wasn't a hoax."
So a friend of mine is an FBI polygraph administrator. right? So he does them on criminal cases and everything else, and he's back in Washington D.C. And I'm sorry, but some people can fake a polygraph, but it's not easy to do. There are some people can do it. Usually, it's people who are devoid of emotion, like a sociopath, right? They just don't have
Yeah.
that emotional response that the rest of normal people have, right? Uh, from everything I've read about Travis Walton, he's a normal guy. He's not a sociopath, so I don't see him faking 3 polygraphs.
Yeah. Even somebody else was telling him that he was like, I gotta go in for a polygraph. And one of these people he knew is like, just drink a couple of beers and then go in and you'll pass. And he's like, I'm not gonna do that. That's dumb. Why? I don't have anything to hide. Why would I
Right,
lie?
right. Well, just the simple fact that his personality changed and the fear that he went through when he came home and the panic attacks. He wasn't a guy prone to panic attacks. He wasn't a guy who was fearful before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And his story never changed.
Never ever.
It was consistently the same thing. And that all of the logging crew had exactly the same story, and their story never changed.
Right. Yep. And he was at some kind of UFO conference, I
Mhm.
think last year, and even people that have heard the story and seen him on TV, seen him on videos, looked at him, and he looks so tired and so done with it.
Yeah.
I think another YouTuber saw him at a different conference and saw him sitting by himself, just eating a meal or something like that, and he walked up and he's like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. Can I have talk to you
Right.
for a minute?" And he asked him, like, would you ever do this? And, he asked him that question, like, would you ever do this again? And he's like, no, I wish it never happened.
Yeah.
Because you can
Yeah.
see him from 10
Yeah.
years ago to now,
Yeah.
and he's so done with it. He's just like, I just want it done with.
He's been on a lot of different like MUFON interviews. He's been on Coast to Coast. He's been on a lot of different shows. Of course, there's this huge. I mean, this is huge. People want to know. But I can imagine after a while, you're just like, God, just leave me alone. Can I
Yeah.
have plastic surgery and just go away now?
Well, you got radio, you got podcasts, you got
Right,
YouTuber, you got everybody dialing, blowing up your phone, going, "Give me an interview," and you're no,
right.
I just
And
want,
I do want to say there's traviswalton.com website, right? And
yeah,
don't buy his books somewhere else. Buy them from him. Um, he said on his website that his books, the Fire in the Sky, the book about his abduction that he wrote, people are selling them for like $200 and $300. You can buy them for like $25, including shipping and handling, or something like that on his website. Don't don't get ripped off. Go directly to his website so you know that he's at least getting the funds.
yeah. Give
You
it to
know,
him. Don't give it to them.
yeah. Don't give it to
Buy the books
what.
from him.
So after, how long did it take really for this story to die down? Do you think?
I don't know. It was 75. I wasn't even born yet. So
So
80s. I can't remember here. I'm probably sure I heard about it in the 90s, like on Unsolved Mysteries or something like that. And then nothing. I mean, I guess
it,
it doesn't really die down,
Well,
but
no, but I mean, at some point he gets on with his life.
yeah,
And
I think
did
it.
he did
I
he
think
have a family? Did he get married? And
I have no idea.
okay. Yeah, well, maybe he wanted to keep all of that stuff really private. So, and I don't blame him, but um yeah, I on his website there isn't any like public mm, anything where he's going and doing any kind of public speaking after 2019. There was nothing updated.
I think he did a public speaking event last year.
Yeah, you said, but it's not on his website. I'm just saying nothing was updated.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah. So,
but
um yeah, I looked to see if he's um you know, if he's doing any kind of public speaking events where we could kind of plug those for him, but um yeah.
I think he keeps it pretty hush hush. So I mean, how old is he now?
Well, he was 20 in the 70s, so he was born in the 50s.
Math, math eludes me. So
So he's in his
um,
60s, late
yeah,
60s.
he's getting up to
Something.
about 70 something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm guessing he's just like I'm just done. I mean, you got to
yeah.
travel from here to there, 70 years old, telling telling the same story, probably living like reliving the trauma over and over and over
Maybe, but
again.
I think at some point you probably get kind of numb to it.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, for a while, and that, yeah. So for a while, that therapy can help, but when it's really raw, it doesn't help. But after a while, you're able to relive and retell really traumatic events, and you know,
yeah, it's like scar tissue. And it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I can't imagine. I mean, I've had weird stuff happen to me, like after coming back from Skinwalker, and I've had a week of missing time, but I don't think, other than just a week, I don't think anything happened. I didn't think I left. I know my handwriting changed for that week because I go back to my notes for work, but I was here. I was physically here because I was taking notes. I just can't remember that week, and Tim has like a whole missing month. But
you don't have any little like things under your skin somewhere that you don't know. Like
no,
that
but
bump wasn't there.
yeah, no, but I can't imagine. I can't imagine like knowing that you've been abducted because he was conscious through the whole thing, and he knew something was happening. That he was being taken away, and then that whole thing about seeing all of that, and that they were doing something to him.
Even his mom was like, "Oh well, got abducted," and they're like, "Well, where did he go?" And oh, he's not here anymore. He's off world somewhere, and he wakes up on a ship.
Yeah.
On it's not just like any ship. It's like a mothership somewhere.
Well,
Because he
and think
walks into a
about
room and he's got this chair and he sits down in it and he pushes buttons on this green screen and then he moves the handle and then the big one comes down and it's like has this big thing on like you are here. Here's here. And you can
yeah.
click buttons and stuff like that. And I'm just I'm just pushing buttons and doing this. Well, thank God there wasn't a gas pedal. Get the shut off anywhere.
Well, and think about too that here's a guy. He's a tough guy. This
Yeah.
is a guy who drops trees for a living. He's a tough guy. He works out in the forest. He's a brawny guy. He hangs around brawny guys. These are guys that go out and work really, really, really hard every single day, come home, drink some beers, watch some TV, go to bed, and get up and do it again.
Yeah, he actually chased off a bear on site before this happened. Because they were doing something and somebody said bear, and Travis is just like drops his chainsaw and is like, I'll get him. And he goes running off after this bear and chases it off.
So he gets home. All of this stuff happens to him. I can imagine he lost 50% of the people who, you know what I mean? Like there's a percentage of people that are going to believe something happened to him because of his change. The other half of them are going to say you're full of shit, and they
Yeah.
won't have anything to do with him again.
Yeah. Well, his mom, I guess his mom and his family were just like, yeah, I believe it. And other people are just like, nah, never happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you've got this weird stigma that you've got to live with now, and childhood friends have now abandoned you. The guys, though, it sounded like the guys on the logging crew never abandoned him
Yeah.
because they were like,
I
no,
think they stuck with them. They were just
yeah,
like, yeah, it happened. We
right.
saw it. Yeah. Yeah.
And thank God for that. Thank God
Yeah.
for that. Can you imagine what he would have gone through had everybody just kind of whatever? So
Well, you got how many people are on that crew?
that
Five,
there was
six people? Five, six people. So you got a
yeah, it was
handful of people witnessing this event versus just your dumbass wander in the woods alone
mm-hmm,
and you say this thing happened. Nobody's going to believe you. But you've
right.
got five people witness the same thing saying, yeah, that it did happen.
Yeah.
So that was probably his only saving grace, but still the toll this poor guy went through.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's a remarkable story. I think I can't even imagine being in his shoes. I hope that he's had a wonderful life after all of this. I hope he has peace. Other abduction stories that I've read said that once you're abducted, like they keep coming back. I hope that hasn't happened to him.
Yeah, the biotag.
Yeah, I hope that he's led a remarkably quiet life, except for the events that he's gone to. I hope he gets paid really well for those. you
Yep.
know, because
And this
God
is why we
dang it,
carry pepper, and this is why we carry bear spray and a sidearm in the forest.
I don't know that they're going to do any good in a UFO.
I mean, he's trying to break a piece of glass on a table and it won't break. That tells me there's oxygen in there, so
I don't know.
bear spray will work. I, I just got a vision of wait, I just got a vision of him with a can of bear spray and just like, okay, that don't work.
Yep. Can you imagine? Yeah. And then what? You then what? How do you get out of there? So yeah,
He's bear spraying
what a
all
good
the
story.
aliens on the ship. I want to go home, and they're like, no, I want to go home.
Oh my god. Well, I thought it was a good story, and I or I mean, it's not a it's a story, but it was an event, and I there's some other the UFO events that we're going to talk about soon because they're remarkable and they're true stories and um have no reason to disbelieve the people who were involved with them. So well, I hope you enjoyed this. I thought it was remarkable. Buy his book, help him out. It's traviswalton.com. I like the Waltons, traviswalton.com. And it's he has excerpts for the book in there, part of the documentary, the movies that's in there, so you can buy the movie or rent the movie. I don't know where did you watch that movie?
I saw it come out years ago,
Okay,
and
yours, but you didn't watch it recently for the
no, I
podcast.
haven't watched it.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Yeah,
watch
it's
it.
I think DB Cooper star is the starring role. Looks remarkably like they look remarkably alike too. And I remember going to the movie theater and my mom and I were just like, wow, that's amazing. It was really something. It was really something. Of course we read the book too, so it was yeah.
I might have to go to
So
the library and find that book and
yeah,
see
it
if
was
it's
a good
there.
read. Obviously, the movies take shortcuts; they always do. But the book was good, and I felt really bad for him. So I felt bad
Yeah,
for just
I can't
everything he went
imagine.
through.
I
Yeah,
can't imagine going through that and then life afterwards. It's just,
no, no, can't imagine it at all. But Thanks for tuning in. And remember, we need you guys to subscribe. Please, please, please share the podcast. Let us know. Let people know about us.
And if you
And
ever
if you're
get
watching
abducted
our
by a
shorts,
UFO, oh, sorry. If you ever get abducted by a UFO, make sure to carry bear spray and a sidearm.
and let us know if it works. And
For science.
also, our Patreon channel is live. It's Nightmare Roadshow on Patreon. We have our first recording up. We're going to be submitting recordings every week that you cannot see on YouTube. YouTube has a lot of restrictions, and they'll censor you. And once you get censored, a lot of times they'll end up removing your channel. So we'll have a lot of content on Patreon that there's no way we're ever going to be able to put it on YouTube. We're going to have funny stuff. We're going to have scary stuff. We're going to have all kinds of stuff on the Patreon channel. So you can find us again on Nightmare Roadshow. We'll start putting that in our description so you guys can find it. And it's for a cup of coffee, man. Cup of coffee a month, you can get all of the content. It's a one tier, $5, and all of that stuff will be there forever. And we really appreciate it. Help us get monetized so we can do some more really groovy research. You wouldn't believe that there's murder cases that I'm looking at right now to do content on, but you have to pay to get the court transcripts and a lot of this stuff. And it's not free because you got to pay.
There's a lot of pay as you play type of deal going on.
And I don't blame them. I mean, it takes somebody's time to go find that stuff and to copy it for you and to mail it. But, all of that stuff comes at a price, and we just can't do it right now until we monetize. So please subscribe to Patreon. You'll like it. Decon's going to be doing some funny stuff on there as well. I mean, we're all going to be putting content up there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, remember, guys, look both ways before you cross Nightmare Road.